Thank you. Welcome everybody to the meeting. Can I remind everyone that the meeting is being live streamed to YouTube? Item 1, apologies. Are there any apologies, please, from anybody that knows?
No apologies. Everyone is present and in the room.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? None? None recorded? Thank you very much. Item 3, the minutes. Can I ask if there's any matters arising or points of accuracy in those minutes? None? Okay, in that case, I'd like to move adoption as a correct record. Can I please ask for a seconder?
Happy to second.
Can I ask all those in favour of adopting these minutes, please, as a correct record, raise your hands. Thank you very much. Item 4, my favourite of all, urgent business of meeting, items of business. Are there any urgent items of business?
No, none notified, Chair.
One day we'll have one. Right. We now come to the Cabinet decision items. Item 5 is the Equality Objectives 2025 to 29. Can I ask Councillor Purnell, please, Cabinet Member, to present the report?
Thank you, Chair. This report outlines our equality objectives for 2025 to 29, setting out a bold and inclusive vision for both our communities and workforce. These goals align closely with the aspirations laid out in the Council Plan and reflect our unwavering commitment to building a fairer, more inclusive society, one where everyone can thrive, no matter their background or circumstances. Establishing clear, ambitious equality objectives is not just a statutory duty under the Equality Act 2010, it's also a powerful opportunity to lead by example. So our commitment goes well beyond compliance. We strive to nurture a culture where diversity is truly celebrated, barriers are actively broken down, and every resident feels seen, valued and heard. These objectives have been shaped by listening closely to local priorities and the lived experiences of our residents, ensuring their voices drive the policies and services that affect their lives. To honour this commitment, we must hold ourselves accountable, celebrating successes each year and working transparently with our partners to address challenges whenever they arise.
Thank you. Can I ask if anyone's got any questions on this at all? No? Thank you. Then I'd like to second that. You're going to move it again. So you've moved it very well. No questions at all. Sorry? Would the officer like to say anything extra?
Thank you, Chair. Just to add to what Councillor Purnell has said, the objectives have been developed with engagement and consultation with residents, and we're very much looking forward to delivering the objectives in partnership with communities across the borough, because it really takes a collected effort to tackle inequalities, and all of us need to be involved in that. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the mover like to move the motion?
I'd like to move the recommendation.
Thank you. We'll second that. I would just like to say that this is a...
Thank you. I'm immensely proud to be moving this item today. These objectives are everything that I in this council stands for. We celebrate diversity. We understand that differences are our strengths. These objectives have not been thought out in a corporate boardroom. They have been designed and shaped by the voices of Bracknell Forest residents. 4 simple, easy to understand objectives, 3 focused on the community and 1 looking at the council itself. I think it's important to point out here that these equality objectives are truly for everyone. I know there are voices in the community from privileged positions who see this as unnecessary or voice comments such as, "What about me?" But if we look at the protected characteristics, of which there are 9, we've got sex, religion or belief, disability, gender reassignment, marriage and civil partnership, pregnancy, maternity, race, sexual orientation and age. You do not have to be part of a minority group to benefit from these objectives, and we are all protected at some stage of our lives, if not all. This council has also gone further and has recognised care leavers as having a protected characteristic. We also take into consideration other groups such as veterans, carers, those in the military and the least well off in society when developing policies and services. This holistic approach means that we can ensure that our services are inclusive and accessible to all, collaborating with partners and residents to reach this aim. We are committed to create an inclusive borough and addressing inequalities in areas of our work beyond our legal obligations. These objectives will be robustly monitored and progress reported to the Cabinet annually. I know that we are already making progress in a couple of the objectives with our community strategy, and I look forward to the first equality report in the spring of next year.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? I would just like to repeat what these 4 objectives are. Deliver inclusive, accessible and responsible services that meet the needs of all the residents. Knowing Bracknell Forest communities and embedding that understanding in all that we do. Actively collaborate and engage with communities. Be an inclusive employer where everyone can achieve their full potential. We stand by these and we now need the whole community to come together to make sure we can put them in action right across Bracknell Forest. Would the mover like to wind up?
I've got nothing further to add. Thank you, Chair.
Can I ask all those that in favour of accepting this recommendation, please raise your hand. Thank you. Moving to item 6, the all-age integrated autism strategy. Can I ask the Cabinet member please to present this?
Yes, Councillor Roy Bailey, thank you, Leader. As Cabinet Member for Children and Young People, I support this all-age integrated autism strategy, which will provide strategic direction as to how we can best support autistic children and young people and ensure they are helped in their transition into adulthood. The need to understand the impact of autism on our residents has been brought into sharp focus through the recent local area inspection of services for local children, young people and their families for special educational needs. The strategy contributes towards the Council's commitment to children accessing quality education and opportunities to fulfil their potential. The strategy will deliver an overarching policy covering the needs of children, young people and adults. The Cabinet is asked to approve the draft all-age integrated autism strategy 2025 to 2030 as a basis for a public consultation over a period of 12 weeks. After that public consultation, a revised draft strategy will be brought back to Cabinet for final approval. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. Can I ask the officer if they've got anything they would like to add?
Thank you very much.
Thank
Hi.
you. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me. Sarah Van Heerde here. Grania apologises. She's got weak signal. We're very pleased to bring this strategy to yourselves for consideration following a significant period of time. We've worked really hard together with our partners, with people with autism and Parent Carer Forum, and we're really pleased to be able to bring this to you for your approval.
Thank you. Can I ask for the Cabinet member to move this motion, please? Sorry. If anyone's got any questions, please. None? Thank you. Can I ask Councillor Roy Bailey to move this then, please?
Yes, Leader, thank you. I move this recommendation. Thank you.
Can I ask for someone to second this? Councillor Wright?
Thank you, Leader. Yes, I'm happy to second.
Thank you. Councillor Bailey, would you like to speak to it, please?
Yes, thanks, Leader. Our new autism strategy is for people of all ages. It explains our goals for supporting autistic children, young people and adults in Bracknell Forest over the next 5 years. Autism affects how people see and interact with the world. It's a spectrum, which means it looks different for everyone. Autistic people might communicate, think or socialise in ways that are different from others. They may like routines, have strong interest or be more sensitive or less sensitive to things like sound, light or touch. When we understand and respect these differences, we help to make our community more welcoming and supportive for everyone. We appreciate the strengths and contributions that autistic people bring to our communities and workplaces. We also understand that society isn't always built in a way that supports autistic people physically, socially or emotionally. That's why we're working to make things better and more inclusive. All-age autism strategies are planned to enable those on the spectrum to fulfil their potential. It shows how that we work together, that is Bracknell Forest Council, Frimley NHS, Berkshire Healthcare Foundation Trust and local community organisations, to support autistic children and their parents or carers, young people and adults. We want to help autistic people do well in school and work, spend time with friends and family and stay healthy and feel good. We want every autistic person in Bracknell Forest to have a good quality of life. Our shared vision is to make Bracknell Forest a welcoming and inclusive place for autistic people. We believe it's everyone's job to break down barriers and to help create a community where everyone can take part and feel included. Our ambition is to make Bracknell Forest a place where autistic people can achieve their life goals. We know this can only happen if we all work together. That's Bracknell Forest Council, health services and community organisations. That's why we've all helped to shape this strategy. Together we're committed to making a real difference for autistic people in Bracknell Forest. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak?
Thank you. Yes. Involving residents in decisions that affect their lives is something that we care about here in Bracknell Forest. This is why I'm happy to support the strategy going to public consultation. And thanks to the team, we have designed a consultation that is accessible for as many people as possible. So we hope that we get a great response. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak? I would just like to say that the recommendation and the strategy does emphasise that it's a focus on the individual, not on the disability, and it's committed to early identification of need, providing the right help, the right time, and the right place as soon as possible. And I think with this strategy in place, we have every hope of doing so. Would the mover like to wind up, please?
I don't think I have anything further to add, Leader.
Thank you. Can I ask all those in favour, please, of these recommendations to raise your hands? Thank you. We then come to item 7, which is the exploitation strategy, which is a public consultation. Can I ask the member to present the report then, please?
Thank you, Leader. Exploitation leaves dark and lasting scars on those who have endured it, sometimes for a few hours, others for a lifetime. It can take place anywhere, behind closed doors, within the home, or out in the wider community through criminal means. It has no age limit and often remains hidden, masked by silence and fear. Our greatest allies in tackling exploitation are the very people who live among us. Residents are often the first to notice when something doesn't feel right. Those subtle warning signs, those moments that raise questions. Sometimes it is a neighbour, a colleague or a friend who becomes the lifeline for someone who is trapped in exploitation. This is why it's essential that the voices of Bracknell Forest residents shape our response. Their experiences and insight are invaluable to the development of our anti-exploitation strategy. I therefore strongly recommend the Cabinet approve the launch of the public consultation, so together we can build a community where exploitation has nowhere to hide and survivors are supported with dignity and care.
Thank you. Can I ask if anyone's got the officer, would you like, good evening, Alison, would you like to add anything to that, please?
Good evening, Leader. No, just to add that this is a request for permission from Cabinet to go out to public consultation with a strategy that has draft priorities set, and those we have developed extensively with partners and also with children and adults with lived experience of exploitation. So we've been making preparations for the public consultation, and we'd be very pleased to be given permission to proceed.
Thank you. Has anyone got any questions? Can I ask if there will be a publicity campaign on this as well? Because obviously in order to get everybody involved, not just on the consultation, but we need to keep this at the forefront, otherwise it disappears and people forget, and the very victims are the people never to raise it.
Yes, Leader, we will be doing a public consultation. We're really keen to get as many views as possible and to involve as many residents as we can. So keen to collect all those voices. So we will be undertaking a comms campaign to accompany it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Can I ask the mover, someone to move it?
Yeah, I'd like to move.
Can I ask someone to second this, please?
Councillor Jeffries to second, Leader.
Thank you. Ask the mover to speak to it, please.
Thank you, Leader. This will be an incredibly powerful and meaningful strategy once fully formed and adopted. However, as with any strategy, it's only as effective as the data it's based upon. This is why this consultation is so vital. Focus groups be formed comprising of children and adults with lived experience of exploitation, consulting and empowering those voices and ensuring that this strategy learns from those who have survived it. It is not mandatory to consult on this strategy, but one which the benefits will outweigh anything else. Even if that is just to start conversations between residents over a topic they might not have considered in any depth before. It could spark a realisation that a conversation they overheard when shopping could be something more sinister. It will make residents realise that they are the eyes and ears in their communities and hold the keys to unlock vital information required by the police and services to disrupt those who abuse and exploit others for their own gain. I believe that any strategy is more meaningful with consultation, and that is why I urge my fellow Cabinet members to vote for this recommendation tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I ask if the second would like to speak?
Yes, Leader.
You?
The Bracknell Forest Exploitation Strategy represents an ambitious, forward-thinking approach to tackle exploitation in all forms for residents of every age. By uniting the expertise and resources of statutory and voluntary sectors, the strategy establishes a coordinated, effective framework to prevent exploitation, protect vulnerable individuals, and disrupt actions of perpetrators. The key strengths of the strategy are all-age life course approach, cross-sector collaboration, robust governance and accountability, victim-centered yet perpetrator-focused, data-driven and evidence-based, learning from experience. Supporting the Bracknell Forest Exploitation Strategy means endorsing a proactive, evidence-based and compassionate response to one of the most serious threats facing vulnerable residents. It demonstrates a commitment to partnership, prevention and continuous improvement, ensuring Bracknell Forest remains a place where exploitation is rigorously challenged and survivors are supported to rebuild their lives. By implementing this strategy, Bracknell Forest affirms its role as a leader in safeguarding collaboration and community resilience, delivering better outcomes for children, adults and families alike. This strategy is not just a document, it is a call to collective action, shared responsibility and unwavering commitment to safety and dignity for all. It deserves the full support of all partners and the wider community. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? I would just like to say that I do welcome this consultation because I think by consulting it opens awareness and it makes people talk, and that it will bring out the fact that exploitation is occurring, and we have to have recognition before we can get resolution. So I welcome this. I also think that the action plan is very detailed and it really does reflect the strategic priorities in a very obvious way so people can understand it and know how they're going to measure the impact. So thank you for that. Councillor Bidwell.
Thank you. Sorry if I've missed it, but what sort of forms will the consultation take? Will it be a combination of online responses, agencies, or?
Sorry, we're in debate, so we can't ask that question. Sorry, you did miss it. Thank you. We'll send it. We'll answer it and give you the information. Thank you. Would the mover like to wind up, please?
Nothing further to add, thank you.
Ask all those in favour of this recommendation that's on the screen, then please raise your hand. Thank you. Oops. item 8, which is the Berkshire Local Nature Recovery Strategy. Can I please ask a Cabinet Member to present the report?
Thank you, Leader. I'm pleased to introduce this report on the Berkshire Local Nature Recovery Strategy. The strategy is a requirement of the Environment Act 2021, and it introduces a new statutory approach to planning for nature recovery at the county level. In our case, the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead has been appointed the responsible authority for coordinating the Berkshire-wide strategy, supported by the 6 unitary authorities, including Bracknell Forest. The work as set is the result of 2 years of development, involving technical analysis, stakeholder engagement, and a formal public consultation earlier this year. Its purpose is to set out the key priorities for nature recovery across Berkshire, identify potential measures that would support those priorities, and map the areas where targeted action is likely to be most effective. Although it is not in itself a delivery plan, the strategy is intended to inform a wide range of future decisions. This includes how we plan land use, how we consider environmental impacts, and how we guide investment and partnership working in support of ecological improvement. It also plays a role in underpinning national mechanisms such as biodiversity net gain and nature-based solutions to climate resilience. Bracknell Forest, through both officers and elected members, have contributed actively to the development of the strategy. Our ecological expertise, data and local insight have been used to help shape the content, and we've also supported efforts to engage the public and local stakeholders. That has included contributions to working groups, consultation activity and data mapping. The strategy reflects a shared commitment across the Berkshire authorities to take a more coordinated and strategic approach to the recovery of nature. While the statutory responsibility for publishing the final document rests with Windsor and Maidenhead, it is important that each supporting authority considers the final draft and confirms its position. The report sets out the current status of the strategy, the legal context, and the recommendation that Bracknell Forest endorse its publication, subject to final checks and clarifications within the time frame available. I commend the report to Cabinet for consideration as we move forward with this new and important area of statutory environmental planning. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gilby. Can I ask Stephen Chown, please, if you've anything you'd like to add as the officer?
Hello, yes, it's Stephen Chown here, Head of Natural Estates, and I'm covering this item for the Executive Director for Place, Andrew Hunter. Thank you, Councillor Gilby, for the excellent summary of this item, and there is nothing particular I need to add in support of the information in the paper. From the officer perspective, the LNRS marks an exciting and ambitious shift in our approach to the natural environment, because this strategy moves us firmly on from the historic focus on conservation of what nature remains and starts a collaboration on a recovery model. So we now aim not just to protect, but to enhance and rebuild nature, and at scale. So officers have always sought to leave the natural environment in a better state than before, but the strategy is now a prioritised framework for targeting habitat creation and improved connectivity and greater landscape resilience. So for Bracknell Forest, the strategy will allow data and ecological mapping to guide where our efforts could have the greatest impact. So we ask that the authority be delegated to support this LNRS publication. Thank you.
Thank you. Has anyone got any questions? None? Thank you. Can I ask Councillor Gilby to move this then, please?
Councillor Gilby, I so move.
Can I ask for a seconder? I will second that. Thank you. Councillor Gilby, would you like to speak to it?
Thank you, Leader. This strategy marks a step forward, not just in how we think about nature, but in how we plan for its recovery in a way that is coordinated, evidence-led and place-specific. For the first time, local authorities across Berkshire are coming together around a shared picture of what needs to happen and where to begin reversing decades of biodiversity decline. The decline in biodiversity is well documented, and its consequences, whether ecological, economic or social, are no longer abstract. But what this strategy offers is a shift from concern to action. It identifies the practical opportunities we have as a borough and as a county to invest in the natural systems that underpin so much of what we rely on. For Bracknell Forest, this strategy complements our strengths. We are a borough with an unusually high proportion of woodland and open space. We have a strong track record on green infrastructure and a community that values access to nature. The LNRS provides us with an additional tool to ensure our natural assets are protected and enhanced, not just reactively, but strategically. It's worth highlighting the collaborative work that has gone into developing this document. Officers from Bracknell Forest have contributed to working groups, helped shape the map data, and engaged with the consultation process. Our views and local knowledge are reflected in the final draft. It has been a genuine partnership, and I want to thank everyone involved for their work. This is not a rigid plan. It does not restrict us to any one way of acting or commit us to new spending, but it provides a clear framework for identifying priorities, for accessing future funding, and for working with landowners, communities and partners in a way that is aligned and transparent. I believe this is a sound and sensible strategy aligned with our borough priorities and national requirements. It provides us with the right balance of ambition and practicality, and I commend it to Cabinet.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Wright.
I just wanted to say that I went on a Walks for Wellbeing in Bracknell, Bucklers Park, and we had one of the, I think he's the chief ecologist, Joe Mellion. Anyway, he was fantastic. So not only is this a great strategy, but I think we've also got a great team delivering on it, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you. Thanks.
A second in this, I would just like to say that it just sums it up when it says a guide where the public, private and voluntary sectors can focus nature recovery efforts for greater collective impact. So at last we're looking what needs to be done and going in there rather than just saying, well, we'll do it all. So I think this will indeed make a huge impact. And I think this recommendation is an excellent one for us all to support. Would the mover like to wind up?
I think just to emphasise that you're quite right, Councillor Wright, in saying that we have a very strong Ranger team. In fact, I think I'll embarrass Joe by making a point of saying that he won the Ranger of the Year award from the Land Trust. It's a national award, but as Joe would say, it's not just, and as he said to me, it feels a great honour, but it's not just my work alone, it's the team's work. And that's why I say that I think we've been a very strong partner in this collaborative conversation across Berkshire.
Thank you. Can I ask all those in favour of this recommendation that's on the screen, please show your hand. Thank you. We then move on to item 9, which is the Bracknell Forest Vision 2050, and I will speak to this. I think it's absolutely essential that we reflect the need to build even stronger communities so that every resident can feel welcome, valued, safe and included. Most of our residents love living here, and we need to ask why, and we need to know what should possibly change. So this vision reflects their hopes and aspirations. It must be resident-led. I've been part of the consultations on this vision, and I'm delighted with the positivity of the responses. Residents want to talk about why it's good to live in Bracknell Forest. They're quite hesitant sometimes of trying to find what isn't so good about Bracknell Forest, but there are reasons, and we need to build on that. The vision runs to 2050, and it's a call to action to support our community's future social, physical and economic well-being. Okay. Can I, Chief Exec, please, to add anything to this?
Thank you very much, Chair. I would just emphasise the point on engagement and the engagement process we went through to develop the vision that is tabled today. And there were some key principles within that engagement approach: future focused and value driven, outcome-focused, inclusive and accessible, evidence-based and aspirational, transparent and clear. And I think with the attached engagement report, I think you can really see the breadth of activity that went into the development of the vision. It's really important, and hopefully it's very clear in the report, that this is just the start of the vision. It's to be a very live document, and therefore a live conversation with the broader community, businesses, residents and wider stakeholders, to very much, as you've articulated, Leader, own the vision and deliver on it over the coming years.
Thank you. Has anyone got any questions? I think then I will move this. Can I ask for a seconder, please?
Councillor Purnell, happy to second.
Thank you. I would just like to emphasise how important it is to make sure that we're actually talking to as many people across Bracknell Forest as we can, and in as many possible locations and online, so that we actually get a really good feel of what it is to belong to Bracknell Forest. Positive people and people that I've met so far are lovely to talk to, but there must be someone somewhere that has a negative and that could add something to the way we have to develop in order to include them. And I think it is really important that we go out and we find and ask them to take part and to help us to develop this vision that is inclusive for everybody. Would the seconder like to speak?
Thank you. I'm happy to second this recommendation today. This is a really exciting project to be involved in and to be able to make a mark. And I would encourage everyone to have a say in the future of this borough. I was really encouraged reading the results of the public consultation when residents were asked what makes Bracknell Forest special. And I'll read from the report what the conclusion said. It was, the results highlight a borough proud of its community spirit, committed to sustainability and focused on maintaining strong infrastructure and inclusion. It's clear that from this administration's point of view that our council plan aligns with what residents think is special about this borough, and we should be proud that we are delivering. I must bring up here the community strategy, which is building on the already established community spirit, and of course our leaders drive for a green and sustainable borough. This is a place where residents are proud to live, and I look forward to being a part of the next stage of this vision.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Can I just say that this vision must be created with residents totally involved. It must be a strategy we can all get behind and to work with. I think it says it simply in the next steps on the document. It says Bracknell Forest 2050 vision is not simply a document, it's a call to action for our entire community. Achieving this ambitious vision will require sustained collaboration, innovative thinking and collective commitment over the coming decades. We've started and now we just continue. Thank you. Can I ask all those who in favour of the recommendation that's on the screen, please raise your hands. Thank you. We then move on to item 10, which is the capital expenditure outturn. Can I ask the Cabinet member to move this, please?
Am I introducing? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Leader. So the total capital expenditure for 24-25 was 38.725 million, which is slightly under the budgeted 39.354 million, and carry forwards of 56.770 million pounds are requested to continue the work on long-term and multi-year projects. The total budget for the period is 96.124 million pounds. The capital programme for 24-25 is largely on track, with no significant overspending and a few small underspends. However, several major projects, particularly in the Place and Communities Directorates, require funding carry forwards due to delays or multi-year execution timelines, such as the Warfield Community Hub and High Street Car Park. The overall outlook indicates a managed increase in borrowing to fund future capital investments with careful monitoring of resources.
Thank you. Can I ask the officers got anything to add to that, please, Stuart? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I would only draw members' attention to the financing of capital expenditure in Table 2 in the report. A key consideration in agreeing the level of the capital programme each year is the impact of additional borrowing on the Council's revenue account. So I am pleased to report that the increase in the capital financing requirement, which represents the underlying need to borrow, is a fairly small element of the financing of the capital expenditure this year. So that's reassuring in terms of the future of the revenue budget. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Can I ask if there's any questions? The officer? None? Thank you. Can I ask the mover to present this then, please?
Okay, yeah, happy to move, Leader.
Sorry, what did I say? Oh, for somebody to second it, please.
Yes, sir. Leader, happy to second.
Thank you, Councillor. Can I ask Councillor Neil to present this?
Thank you, Leader. The capital outturn shows that we continue to invest in schemes that are relevant and important to Bracknell Forest residents. It can be expected that with large and complex projects such as the Bridgewell and safety valve schemes, timings may change during the detailed planning and construction periods, but overall the programme has been managed well with risks minimised. It will continue into this year and beyond, and the focus remains on delivering the schemes where funding has already been agreed. The carry forwards will also allow us to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask if the seconder would like to speak?
Thank you, Leader. I will. This report presents a clear and accountable overview of the Council's capital spending during the last financial year. Despite continued financial pressures and a challenging economic climate, it is reassuring to see that the Council has remained committed to delivering key infrastructure and investment priorities for our residents. The report confirms that the capital programme has been delivered with the approved funding envelope, with prudent carry-forward requests proposed to ensure ongoing delivery of critical schemes in 25-26. These include projects that support our ambitions for sustainable communities, accessible services, and a resilient infrastructure base. I would particularly like to commend the efforts of our officers in managing this programme effectively, balancing affordability with ambition and ensuring that resources are directed where they will have the greatest long-term impact. In seconding this report, I support both the transparency it provides and the continued investment it enables in Bracknell Forest's future. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Gilby.
Thank you, Leader. From the perspective of my portfolio, I welcome the outturn report and the stability it reflects. Capital investment in highways, transport infrastructure and countryside assets is often complex, multi-year and dependent on seasonal or planning constraints. So it's reassuring to see that the programme has stayed within control with clear plans to carry forward committed funding for delivery in 25-26. In particular, I welcome continued investment in highway schemes, LED improvements and feasibility work that supports both better infrastructure and a more resilient transport network. This report reflects sound financial stewardship and continued progress on delivering long-term infrastructure for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Neil, can I ask you to wind it up, please?
Nothing further to add. Thank you, Leader.
Can I ask all those in favour of this recommendation that's on the screen, please raise your hands. Thank you. Item 11, which is the revenue expenditure outcome 24-25. Can I ask Councillor Neil to present the report, please?
Thank you, Leader. The report shows that in the financial year 24-25, the Council underspent by £742,000 against its approved revenue budget of £97.356 million, and this surplus was returned to general reserves. This sets us in a good position going into the 25-26 financial year. Looking ahead, however, there remains ongoing uncertainty from delayed national funding reforms and increased service demand. To summarise, the Council has managed its finances effectively, recording a modest underspend and appropriately utilising reserves. All statutory deadlines were met or exceeded, with no major restructuring costs incurred. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask Stuart McKellar if he's got anything that he would like to add to that?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, it was a very good outcome at the end of a year that had started looking particularly difficult. Members may remember that we were looking at a potential overspend of £7 million last summer, so there has been a huge amount of work by managers across the organisation to look at areas where they could curtail spend wherever possible, and the corporate management team has been very actively involved in looking at all recruitment over the course of the year, and that rigour has helped us get to a position where it is an underspend by the year end. So I think it's a really good effort on behalf of the whole organisation. If I could just focus a little bit for a second on my finance team. We were the first council in Berkshire to publish our draft statement of accounts for the 24-25 financial year. Again, it's not an uncommon thing to happen. It's an awful lot of work involved in it, and I think it's a great achievement for a council of our size to do that. So thanks, Chair.
Congratulations to the team then again. Thank you. Are there any questions? None? Thank you. Can I ask Councillor Neil to present this then, please? To move this
Happy
recommendation.
to move, Leader. Thank you.
Seconder first.
Seconder, sorry. Councillor Wright, thank you.
Second.
Can I ask you to present it then, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. I'm delighted that the revenue outturn for 24-25 is an underspend. This was the first budget set by this Labour administration and demonstrates that we have set a prudent budget built in consultation with residents that delivers for Bracknell Forest and is within our spending power. Bracknell Forest is the only council in Berkshire that is declaring an underspend for 24-25. Against a backdrop of continued funding challenges to local government, I am proud of what has been delivered, and Bracknell residents can be confident that we continue to deliver on priorities with a strong track record. Thank you.
Would the seconder like to speak, please?
Yes, thank you, Leader. The revenue outturn applies to the day-to-day spending of the council. With the People Directorate, that being children's, young people and adult services, taking up the vast majority of this budget, I am happy to second this. Despite all the pressures on expenditure, we've managed to remain within budget with an overall underspend, and we thank the Council for working hard to deliver this. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Gilby.
Thank you, Leader. This report reflects responsible, disciplined financial management, something that remains essential given the national funding uncertainty we continue to face. Speaking from the view of my portfolio, I'm particularly pleased to note positive outturns in areas such as planning income, concessionary fares and countryside-related Section 106 contributions. These reflect both effective management and real public demand for accessible, high-quality local services. The fact that we've returned a surplus to general reserves while continuing to deliver on our commitments across planning, transport and green infrastructure speaks to the strength of the Council's approach and the hard work of our teams. And I would re-emphasise that the last budget, the last of 27 years of Conservative budgets, produced an overspend. This first budget in 27 years, a first Labour budget, produced an underspend. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Neil, would you like to wind up, please?
I'd like to thank officers for their efforts throughout the year in delivering this outcome in continued challenging circumstances, and I'm pleased that Bracknell Forest residents can yet again be confident in this council's strong financial management. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask all those in favour of the recommendation as it is on the board then to raise their hand? Thank you. Then we come to item 12, which is the Climate Change Strategy Annual Report. And I would like to speak to this. As promised, this annual report says what has been achieved on the actions of the climate strategy. It's a very, very positive report. We aligned ourselves to make Bracknell Forest as net zero as close to 2030 as possible. And this is an amazing start. The reduction in the carbon dioxide in the year was 229 tonnes, and I'll remind everybody that 229 tonnes is the same as driving, I wrote it down very quickly, 3,750 miles. 1 tonne is the same as driving 3,750 miles. So 220 tonnes of carbon dioxide is a good saving. It's often mainly due to the installation of solar panels. But we've done so much more. It's continued to retrofit domestic properties. We've used grants wherever we can for improving the solar panels. We've helped 7 vulnerable households upgrade their housing. We put together Solar Together, and we supported that so that different people can get a really good deal on their solar panels that they're putting on their houses. The Green Doctor Thames Valley has supported 34 householders, saving them energy and therefore money, and altogether they've saved them about 4,423. The 16.3% of the council's energy that we use is now provided from the council's own solar PV panels. We've put together a buildings energy management system, and we've upgraded and installed on Bracknell's Leisure Centre and Coral Reef. LED lights of insulation and passive infrared sensors have been put into the Avenue car park, and this has provided an annual saving of 90k. We've got 52 energy efficient houses built at Coopers Hill, and the depot with its green roof, solar panels and LED lights and EV charges is coming in to be BREEAM, which is a building research established an environment assessment method. So is the Binfield Health Community Centre and the Bridgewell Supported Living and the Edgeborough new special needs development. The new transport plan also helps us with improved cycling and reducing the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. There's been cycling festivals, there's been 4 new pedestrian crossings, we've had new EVs put in, EV refueling points. The Rangers fleet has been made sustainable. The H3O trial showed that we could reduce the amount of emissions compared to diesel by 78%. We've got the Biodiversity Action Plan, and this is amazing, and we just keep going on and on. The only negative thing that has happened, and this is an appeal to all residents, is that our waste has gone up compared to our recycling. And this cannot happen. We need to get the waste in the blue bin and away from the green bin. I move this and I talk to this. Can the officer now add something?
Thank you, Leader. So this annual report is now a feature of the municipal calendar. It was born out of a climate change motion passed at full council. As I said, a regular feature now that we summarise all of the good things which are done across the whole of the council. So here's a whole council report, and the 2 elements that I would draw the Cabinet's attention to in the cover report is the diagram at figure 1 and figure 2, which shows the council's emissions but also shows the borough's emissions. And we're pleased that both are going in the right direction, but certainly more work is required and a redoubling of efforts to be able to get to our target in terms of 2030 or as close as possible.
Thank you. Are there any questions? None? Thank you. Then I would like to move this report, and I think it's and thank you for whoever made it possible to.
Councillor Gilby, I so second.
And I'd like to thank, on the board there is 2025 progress update. You can hardly get another word on that, look, it's set and small, you can hardly read it either. But it's got so much included in there that has been achieved. And I think we all have to thank the team of the climate change team that do this, because it's such a huge leap forward than what it's been in the past. And I think it really is to be celebrated. And we are now really, we're going at pace, not fast enough, but we've made a really good start. And this is our action towards net zero. We've got 2 climate summits this week, and we are moving so that everybody can actually get involved in what Bracknell Forest has started. Bracknell Forest Council has started on behalf of everybody. Would the seconder like to speak?
Thank you, Leader. I'd like to start by going a bit off script by acknowledging the role that your drive and enthusiasm for this has played. When you took on the role of climate change as part of your portfolio, I know that there were hushed tones from people on other rows in the chamber that this was just simply a vanity exercise, but what you have proved is how much this has been central to your vision of what Bracknell Forest should be and what it should look like. And I have to say, the fact that this is, I think, one of the best strategies and action plans in the country is a testament to the work and the role that you've played alongside officers and other stakeholders. So thank you, Councillor Temperton. Back to the formalities, I'm very pleased to second the recommendations. What this report makes clear is that Bracknell Forest is not waiting for change to happen. We are actively driving it. The progress set out in this report reflects real action on the ground, from building energy-efficient homes to expanding food waste collections, installing EV chargers, delivering retrofit projects, and supporting residents with energy advice. We've also seen strong leadership within the council itself, whether through carbon literacy training for staff, decarbonisation of our vehicle fleet, or the adoption of more climate-conscious procurement. Importantly, this is about more than meeting targets. The steps we're taking are improving quality of life, making homes warmer, air cleaner, and travel more sustainable. And we are doing so in a way that's consistent, accountable, and data-led, as this report demonstrates. I want to commend the work of officers, partners, and the wider community who've contributed to the delivery of this strategy over the past 4 years. As we now shift to the new 2025-2030 plan, this report gives us a strong platform to build from. I support the recommendations.
Thank you. I thank you for your kind words. Does anyone else like to speak? Then can I just sum up with a really good piece of news which I'd like to share with all of you, and that's about the Climate Action Scorecard's results. The scorecard, which is organised by Climate Emergency UK, are used to independently access all UK councils on their climate action and their progress towards net zero. I'm pleased to announce that the Council's own score has gone up by 15% this year, from 27 to 42%, making us one of the most improved councils in the entire country. Our rate of improvement was almost 3 times greater than that of the average single-tier authority. I truly believe that this demonstrates the significant improvement in the climate action of Bracknell Forest Council over the past 2 years. I'd also like to thank all those that helped go out and tell people about the climate change and the need to do something, because our highest score was 72% in communication. Another huge thing that has happened this year and will be reported at the climate conference and climate summits this week, twice, one in the Kerrith tomorrow evening and one on Friday in Wellington College, is the fact that the Bracknell Forest Community Climate Action Group has been established and is now using these summits to actually devise the community strategy, the community climate change strategy, to support the excellent council community strategy to make sure that we can reduce as much carbon footprint as possible. It's the rest of the Bracknell Forest which is responsible for 98% of this carbon footprint. We are only responsible for 2%. We've started off making a really good difference to this, and I thank everybody involved. And I would like to move this recommendation. Can all those in favour of agreeing with this recommendation please raise your hand? Thank you. Now come on to item 13, which is the Climate Change Strategy Action Plan. And this is me again. And this Climate Strategy Action Plan is exactly what it says. It's a very detailed action of all that must be done in order for this first year to make sure that we put in place the support that is needed for the climate strategy. Can I ask the officer, Kevin Gibbs, to add anything to this, please?
Yeah, thank you, Leader. So the Cabinet will be aware that in the budget an amount of money was put aside in terms of increasing the size of our climate change team, and we have also now have a refreshed climate change strategy. So this action plan is the consequence of those decisions. It's an ambitious plan, and certainly the first steps of that plan in terms of enlarging the team has now been completed, with additional staff having been recruited. We've aligned the plan to portfolios, and we've made sure that it is achievable in terms of what we're setting out for the first 12 months. But while we start implementing this first 12 months, we're already working on what the next year's plan looks like and the following year plan. So this is part of a rolling programme which we'll bring to Cabinet so that Cabinet gets a chance to sign off on each of those milestones as we move towards our objective.
Thank you. Are there any questions? None? Then I would like to move the recommendations in this climate action plan, and to say that this is. Can I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Gilby, I so second.
Thank you. Sorry, be like playing the piano here. The summary of this is in the sheets, and it is really very, very impressive what is intended to be achieved during this year. But it's not just only intending to be achieved, because we're monitoring progress through quarterly meetings of a refreshed Climate Change Officers Board, and twice a year to Cabinet and the Joint Climate Action Board, and then we'll have another full report on our progress following the end of the year. So no pressure after the report we've had for this year. But the first aim is to reduce council emissions, deliver 1 million of investment, create an estate decarbonisation plan, look to transition our waste fleet to HVO, introduce climate-friendly procurement guidance. To support borough emission reduction for buildings and energy, introduce new sustainable construction guidance, aim for high standards in town centre regeneration plans, support a solar for school scheme for local schools, trial a joint retrofit scheme focused on a specific area. For transport, deliver active travel improvements, develop a roadmap for taxi decarbonisation, pilot cycle buses to school, introduce a town centre women's safety charter. Land and waste, ensure council and partners' food provision is sustainable, create and improve heathlands habitats, conduct river restoration along the River Blackwater, launch a sustainable land management portal. Aim 3, to engage communities, we will support the JCAB, the Bracknell Forest Community Climate Group to drive through wide action, trial targeted neighbourhood-based engagement, engage deeply with selected community groups, develop a toolkit of resources to support engagement. Aim 4, to adapt to climate change, we will complete a council climate risk assessment, prepare an adaptation plan to tackle identified risks, look at updating our flood risk strategy, begin to assess climate change risks affecting the borough. Aim 5, to support the green economy, will launch a green business pledge accreditation scheme, launch sector partnerships for offices and food drink, run an inaugural green business event and award, run a green job scheme and fair. Enablers, to enable this to happen, we will build capacity for future action. We'll introduce a local climate bond to raise funds, deliver carbon literacy training to managers, develop a pipeline of future projects and seek funding, embed partnership working and innovation in all projects. You'll see this is the year where the plans are put in place. This is the year where the plans are developed, the funds are found, and we start to plan for the future. The second year will be when we actually start taking off, and the third year will be when we're really going at full pace. I move these recommendations. Would the seconder like to speak?
Thank you, Leader. I'm pleased to second the recommendations. What we're approving tonight is the engine room of our climate strategy. This action plan sets out the work that will take place on the ground over the coming year to deliver on the goals we've already agreed, across the Council's infrastructure, in our communities, with local businesses and through key partnerships. It's encouraging to see not only ambition, but structure, specific projects, clear timelines and cabinet-level sponsorship of the major initiatives. That reflects the seriousness with which this Council approaches its commitment to net zero. As Cabinet Member for Planning, Transport and Countryside, I'm particularly pleased to see continued focus on active travel, biodiversity and sustainable construction standards. These aren't just climate actions, they improve daily life for our residents. I support the plan and look forward to working with colleagues and partners to help deliver it.
Would anyone else like to speak? I have nothing to add. With all those in favour of the recommendation that's on the board, please raise your hand. Thank you. We then move on to item 14, which is the climate change strategy and delivery plan to provide a local climate bond. Can I ask a Cabinet Member to present this report, please? Thank you. Councillor Neil.
Thank you, Leader. In September 2025, which is clever because that's not happened yet, Council agreed to a motion which invited the Executive to explore the feasibility of raising a Bracknell Forest local climate bond to support decarbonisation projects throughout the borough. This report lays out the terms and conditions for a loan agreement proposed between the Council and Abundance Investment to deliver on this. It includes key terms such as the use of funds, loan terms, borrowing amounts and fees. Thank you.
Can I ask the officer if they'd like to add to this? Thank you, Mr McKellar.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to confirm from a financial perspective then that the Council isn't bringing this forward because we need access to different resources to fund our capital programme. We do have access to the Public Loans Board and other sources of funding. The reason for bringing this forward is around the engagement that it offers to local people and to investors in other parts of the country around the work that we are doing around climate change and enhancements. So it's very much around that rather than the financial benefit that occurs. Thank you.
Thank you. Has anyone got any questions? Councillor Bidwell.
Thank you, Leader. What sort of return would somebody want to or think about getting back for a bond? Is it morally because they're helping climate change, or is there some financial gain?
I think it's fair to say that if you're interested in getting the highest possible rate of return, this wouldn't be the route for you to invest in, but it offers a reasonable rate of return at the same time as perhaps helping people feel good about supporting the environment.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Oh, Councillor. Well.
Yeah, again, the model that is being put forward, which is a good one, is there any example of this being done elsewhere in the UK? And if so, where? And how successfully?
The first council to bring forward a local climate bond was actually West Berkshire Council a number of years ago. Since then, many other councils have come forward. Oxfordshire County Council was fairly recent, and assuming things go to plan and we do get to the point of launching our climate bond in December this year, which is what the objective is, then there are two other very large-scale local authorities who will be seeking money for investors at the same time. So it's becoming quite a common model across local authorities.
Any other questions? Councillor Neil, would you like to move this, please?
Happy to move the item, Leader.
I'll second it. Councillor Neil, can you present, please?
Yes, thank you, Leader. So climate bonds are an innovative way of funding large-scale projects and have been very successful at other local authorities, as recognised just now, such as West Berkshire, who were the first to use them. We know many residents are concerned about climate change, and this is one way that they can take action to make a real difference. It will mean local money is invested to help us produce local energy or support a local project and directly contribute to reducing Bracknell Forest's carbon footprint. The loan agreement's terms and conditions set out tonight will allow us to move forward with this exciting initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. To speak to this, I think it is a tried and tested way of raising funds for climate activities, and there's lots of people who actually do want to do something, and they have some money and they would actually want to invest in something that they feel is going to make a real difference to their local environment and their local area. And so I am very excited about getting this off the ground and seeing how successful we can be. I understand that there are 15 or so other councils that have all tried this, and all of them have been successful. So there's a good model to follow. I also think it's highlighted in the minutes where the money will go to, the project which will be there, and I think that is good because it is raising issues locally where we can put solar panels on and make our own energy, and we'll have a good measure of that in our annual report when that comes back as well. Next, as soon as it's up and running, we've got the bonds, we've got the PV panels, and we then will have a real measure of our success. Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Wright.
Just following on from what Stuart Jeffrey said, I think, yes, it will make us feel good, but also it won't make us feel bad. And I just noticed in the news today that there's someone in court because she's refused to pay her council tax because they were investing in fossil fuels. And we won't have that problem here if we show that we're committed to investing in the climate or preventing climate change. Thank you. Thanks.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Neil, would you like to sum up?
This directly supports the Climate Change Strategy Action Plan presented in the agenda item before this, and I am pleased to bring this forward this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask all those in favour of the recommendation on the board? Thank you. Thank you. And that is the last item on the agenda for this evening. Thank you all.
Stuart,